Lokati here. Today we're going to be talking about the Shield Lancer and Hero Siege. Now, I started with season 6 here, and this is my first real season in the game. I played for a couple days in season 5 and decided I really liked the game, but wanted to wait for season 6. And so this is our first foray into it. We're on day 2 or day 3. Day 2 or 3, depending on your time zone, of the game on the character. And so we've made good progress on the character so far. And we're going to talk about a few things. So first thing we're going to talk about is early game playstyle on the character. So I built this Shield Lancer loosely following Graxy's guide on a honed defenses Shield Lancer. But levels 1 through 60, you're not a home defensive Shield Lancer. Levels 1 through 60, you are a Shield Wall Shield Lancer. And so you start off with honed defenses doing a little bit of damage, but it's not a terribly large amount of damage. And so when you start leveling out, you'll get Shield Slam, and you'll Shield Slam, and you'll probably just battle charge around on everything to kill it. And then you'll get home defenses, and your damage starts to pick up a little bit with reflective damage from stuff hitting you with home defenses. Whenever you get Shield Wall, everything gets dumped in a Shield Wall. Respecking your character is really simple. You just set attributes right down here. Shield Wall becomes your primary source of damage all the way till about level 80 before the minions from home defenses can come close to the damage of Shield Wall. And I do want to point out one gameplay mechanic with the Shield Wall. So the Shield Wall, when you click the button, it spins around and it does some damage, right? And that damage is based on it hitting the targets here. Now, if you hold down, if you continuously cast the Shield Wall, your damage will increase. And so we're doing like 100 million with it just doing its thing, and if we hold down the Shield Wall, it gets up to a little bit more. And this is probably a bad example of it, because most of my damage at this point in the game is coming from home defenses. But early on, if you just let your Shield Wall do its thing, you're going to do less damage than if you do this. It's called dropping shields, I guess is what people are referring to it as. But you'll do so much more damage, because every time you cast Shield Wall, it resets the internal trigger that causes the Shield Wall to proc on hitting something and doing damage. And so, spam cast it for increased damage. Don't spam cast it for regular damage and clear. And so that's your Shield Wall. Now, once you get past that and you start using Honed Defense as your primary source of damage, you got two ways of doing it. Now you've got Sky Bulwark and Risen Guards. And the short and the long of it is, to have a lot of fun playing the Shield Lancer, you need to be comfortable with swapping between the two builds. And so we have two different versions of the build here. This one, which uses Risen Guards, and this one, which uses Sky Bulwark. Sky Bulwark is tremendously good clear. And the reason it's tremendously good clear is because, as you can see, every time we proc something, it's going to drop these shields from the sky. The shields will fall and hit everything in a circle. But if you're hitting all the things drop shield. And all the shields overlap. And all the shields do more damage. And so you can do a tremendous amount of damage in a clear situation just by dropping shields on multiple targets. So make sure you're taking advantage of Sky Bulwark in clear. And then as soon as there's like a super tanky rare, or you get to a boss, you just come over here, you swap over, and now you've got single target damage, which is very, very good as well. So these are our little guys, and they're doing their little single target, stabby the target thing. Now, they're not good for clear. They're abysmal for clear. But they do relatively the same single target damage as you would normally do in AoE with Sky Bulwark, and so you just swap between them. I mean, literally swapping is just open up your thing, you swap, and you're done. Now you're AoE clear again. Very nice, easy way to flip back and forth between an AoE clear build and a single target build on the character. Now, we'll talk a little bit about scaling. It is an arcane skill damage character, which means you're going to scale off of a few things. And I'm early getting going with this and still learning the game. But the number one primary way that you scale almost any character in this game is plus the skill levels. And so you've got things like this lance right here. Not that one. A terrible link. Thought I picked up the flag lance, for example, is +1 to all skills, +8 to hone defenses. We would obviously rather this be +3 and +8. As many skills as you can get. We've got skills here, we've got skills here, we've got skills here, we've got skills here, skills here, skills, there's a trend, skills everywhere. Now I am using this champion set. Surprisingly good set, +4 to all skills. Baseline for the set, and then target defense ignored. Baseline for the set is very good. And then Jim King's Garb. This thing is ungodly good. This should be your first SS tier that you get. I really like this for two reasons. Obviously, Saint Jupes, the angelic chess piece, is the best single target chess piece in the game, but Jim King's Garb is good for both your single target and your AoE, and it's incredibly powerful. So this should be your first SS tier that you save up for, or you drop. And then I'm using a gem encrusted tower just so that I can better bolster all of my resistances. This thing is 77% to all my resistances, except for arcane. It's 47% to arcane. And then I just use a witch's brimmed hat to give me that arcane resistance, and also lower enemy arcane resistance. So this is the second way that you're going to deal a lot of damage, is with lowered enemy arcane resistance. We have a canopic jar here that lowers enemy arcane resistance. We have a witch's brimmed hat that lowers enemy arcane resistance. We have our spear here, which lowers enemy arcane resistance. And so you're going to just do everything you can to lower enemy arcane resistance. It's my understanding that you cannot lower below 0%. So if you have 75% lowered enemy arcane resistance, that's kind of the soft cap on it, but I could be wrong on that. That's my understanding of how it works right now, though. As far as relics go, these are terrible relics. The magic mushroom's good, but these are just magic find relics, because that's what I found. Vitality relic, which is not bad. So that's what we're using right now. But there, you want attribute relics and other things like that, then these magic find relics probably. Small charms, I'm just using what I can get my hands on. I got this +2 to all skills for Shield Lancer, which is really good. And then got life. I've got life. And adaptive arcane damage, which is a little bit. And then like some garbage ones over here. Nothing real special in our charms here. We're still kind of building the character and putting it together. And so far, the Shield Lancer has been very fun. Very engaging. You're super tanky, which is a very good feeling. Your dash is incredibly fast to get around. It gets stuck on everything in existence, but it's so fast that it makes up for the getting stuck on everything. So that's not too bad. Your dash also gives you a damage reduction, and so you get to, first of all, drag monsters together, and we do more damage to monsters the closer they are together. So bulldozering large packs into one little small pack massively shotguns your damage from Sky Bulwark. And then you also get a little bit of damage reduction for charging around, things like that. We have a few passive skills. Like this increases your life and your resistances. Just put 1 point in here, let your all skills scale it. We have to put a point in here to go down here to get increased maximum life and vitality. And then counter increases the damage of honed defenses. And so in my AoE build, I'm running more counter scale Sky Bulwark damage, but in my single target build, I'm running more Knight's Vigor because then we're fighting a boss and I want more health. And so you can mix and match that also to please. And so like I'm not running parry over here because versus bosses, it's really just like don't get one-shot dodge main things. I'm not going to rely on parry. But then in clear, parry is really good because there's a lot of stuff running around, a lot of stuff hitting you, and then this just diminishes the total amount of incoming damage. And then of course we're putting all of our points in last stand down here because this gives us a cooldown, which makes us do a ton of extra damage. And so these are where you're going to have all of your points in, and then you're going to put some points in these skills depending on whether you're doing the single target build or the multi-target build here. So that's how I've got everything set up. If you have any questions over anything, drop a comment down below or come by Twitch and ask. I am still learning this game, and so as we learn more, I will have a better, more in-depth build guide for you to look at. In the meantime, I will link Graxy's video and Graxy's build guide because that's what I'm using. The biggest difference between my guide and his is he is only using Risen Guards in his. So do keep a Sky Bulwark setup. And again, you'll go 5 here. We don't care about this because the Sky Bulwark triggers every time you hit something. We don't need to worry about Lucky Defense giving us stacks. And so we go 5 out of 5 Fortified Bastion, 5 out of 5 Deadly Resistance, 2 out of 5 Thorn Surge, so we can get 5 out of 5 Engulfing Wave. More Area of Effect means more Shotgun Effect, and then 3 out of 3 Sky Bulwark. So that's how we're going to do our clear. The rest of this is relatively the same as you would in your normal build. The only difference is I did put a point in parry over here, because it does give us 20% to parry, and I put all of my extra points into counter so that we can increase the damage of Hone Defenses, because Hone Defenses scales off of counter. So that is 400% more arcane damage because we have 40 levels of counter right here. All right. Thank you guys very much. Y'all have a wonderful day. Peace.